Hi YouTube. My last video I took a picture of the sun. There was a lunar eclipse happening on the other side of the world. So I just thought I'd take a picture of the sun in the hope I might catch something. But I was using this camera, a Nikon camera. But on the end you can see it's dark on the end. I've got a polarizer on the end of the camera. It makes it a little bit dimmer, so my f-stops. It takes like one thing off the aperture stops. But I had it on like f45, which is like really high setting, and 4000 speed shutter, and 200 ISO, and took a picture of the sun. And it seems like the glare is the sun, and then you can see the sun, and there's a dot next to it. I think it's Mercury, because by looking at the solar system, Mercury's in that place. Please ignore my eyes, they're a bit puffy. I've been crying at a video that was quite moving in a way. It's in my favourites. It's about animals' compassion over humans, and it's quite good. Tears of joy and tears of sorrow. So yeah, that explains that. But no, I've been watching some films. I've watched a film by Michael Moore called Sicko, and I've watched a film, I can't remember who it's by, but it's called Food Incorporated. Now, I videoed some clips of the Food Incorporated, which I'll add onto the video, with me reacting to it. It was about the American food chain, and I'll be honest, right, I'm not in a rush to go to America anyway. It's not my most favourite place in the world, and I'm sure there's lovely parts of it. Some of the people I'm friends with, you know what I mean, there's some nice people in America and that, but the whole, I don't know, now I know what the food chain's like even more. It's like, oh my god, do you actually eat any food that's good for you? It's so tainted, as well as Codex Alimentarius and the industrial era that's going on in that country. It's just shocking. And I'm not for the EU at all, right? But the EU luckily protects our food chain, English food chain. We don't eat cloned meat. There are places where chickens are farmed, like in these closed hen pens and whatever else. I think there is a degree of that in England. I'm not sure on the extent, but we have free range and organic as well, and I eat free range eggs, organic eggs. I usually get them from a friend who's got chickens, actually, who doesn't feed them protein diets, because chickens they feed them this wrong stuff, and it can make them produce big eggs that can kill them, and so I always get small eggs. And I see it as an unfertilised life, so, I do eat protein like that. But, and I use goat's milk. I use goat's milk from a farm that I know is organic. And the goats are treated humanely. But our meat and stuff, I don't think it's, our cows do eat grass. And, they don't stand in their own shit and eat corn. Why would you feel like feed animals corn? I don't get that, how to cause E. coli, how to get people sick. And it seems that from this Food Incorporation, I was quite shocked to learn that America has meat callbacks regularly. Like thousands of tons of meat is called back because of, infections and shit. And it's like, what on earth is going on there? I don't think I've ever known meat to get called back in England. I think they had a salmon scare once. Unilever did years back ago, and they had to test it, because Unilever stopped testing on animals, and they had to test this stuff on rats or mice or something, and there was a big hoo-ha. I remember about it, but that's the only major food scam I've heard with meat anyway that's been an issue. It just, you know what I mean? It's just no. And so I watched that thing and thought, oh my god, you can't actually eat anything in America that's any good for you, especially, it's just, oh my god. But let me tell you, that's all cattle. That makes me feel ill. That is disgusting. Being a vegetarian as well, right? But I just don't know how anyone can eat meat that comes from that shithole. Look at that. That ain't a ranch. That's a production site. Look at it. Look at these poor little cows. Seriously, it makes me so angry. I'll tell you what, there's a charity. I don't usually give to charity because I think they're all Freemason groups. But there was an animal charity today, and I'll give him £1. And I said, I don't usually give them. I said, I'll give animals any money out because they're so unselfish. And we treat them all like pieces of meat. Would you like to be treated like a piece of meat? Can you imagine? Oh yes, can I have a human being on toast with some beans, please? Yeah, can I have a blonde-haired one and with blue eyes? Yeah, I want the posh type. Yeah, yeah. Can you imagine? It's just, Sorry, all you meat eaters. If you want to eat meat, I think you should go and kill it yourself. I just, you know, we're not supposed to eat meat anyway. And anyone who argues any different, I'm sorry, we're going to argue for the rest of my duration of life, so there's no point in us arguing about it. Let's agree to disagree. But that makes me angry, that does. That really makes me angry. That's where, where McDonald's, that's the United States, yeah. Look at the fucking, that is disgusting. Look at the state of those animals. And then you, look, oh.
The
McDonald's Corporation should be, that place should be burnt. Look at the state of that. That is disgusting. You should be ashamed. Don't go into McDonald's. Don't go into any of these fast food restaurants and stop eating shit produced food, especially if you live in America, because it's 10 times worse in America than it is in England. This disgusting. Makes me really angry. And then I watched this program called Sicko, which is about the American health service and how insurance companies try and dodge their responsibility to give you health care because of some stupid clause in it, etc., etc., and how you have to pay for education to go to college and university and stuff like that, and how the old people aren't cared for, they don't have door-to-door service and things like that, and how, you know, you can't get government care schemes for children and stuff like that, and you know, funds for children's healthcare, and you know, unemployment benefit and housing benefit and council tax relief and stuff like that. And Michael Moore went to England and he went to France, and he was in complete shock at the difference with our health system. And you know, in America you're taught that a national health system is like a socialist dictatorship like the Soviet Union, that controls your life and you wouldn't get proper health care and etc., etc. Where that's not the case, especially in this country. It might be if the American government get hold of it, I don't know. But Michael Moore was like, you know, you can get. He went into a chemist, a pharmacy, to get to ask about getting a prescription for a drug, and he said, "How much would that cost me?" And the guy goes, $6.95. I think it's $7.25 now, but $6.95. He says, "Okay." He goes, "So I want an expensive cancer drug. How much would that cost me?" And the bloke goes, $6.95. He says, "What about if I wanted that?" He goes, $6.95. Everything's $6.95. He's like, "But don't you have to ring up an insurance company and check that I'm allowed to have this drug?" He's like, "No, don't be stupid." And then he spoke to the doctors, and he said to the doctor, he says, "Have you ever actually refused to give someone surgery, or had to, you know, do you have to ring up somewhere, the government insurance company, and ask permission to do heart surgery or whatever else?" He goes, "No, I've never, ever not been able to treat someone. I don't have to ask permission." But you've got to remember, our costs of living are different. But we have a national health thing, national insurance. I can show you on my pay slip. I'm going to have to get rid of all the important details at the top. But if you look at this pay slip, I've done some overtime on this, so please ignore. Oh. Where are we? Here, we can see here, you have income tax, national insurance, my pension scheme, I pay a private pension, and my union subscription, and you know, that's my net pay, and that's my gross pay. At the time I earned £550, £500 of 20 pence, sorry, and I took home £371 and 40 pence, and £71 of that was income tax, which is paid to the government for the bonds that the bank borrow and whatever else, or to the Queen, whatever you want to call it. And national insurance, that amount of money pays for my national health care, it pays for unemployment benefit, it pays for government funded pension, it pays for all my dentist care, it pays for my education, it pays for college. I think, you know, with university, I don't think you pay for your exams. I'm not sure if you do pay for your exams. I think the most debt that's accumulated at university in this country is from student loans for housing and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, 130, what's my total? £128.80 each week, if I earn that much, depends on how much you earn, goes to the government, my pension fund, my private pension fund, plus everything else. I don't have to worry about if I get sick. If I went into an emergency room now, I would be treated within 2 hours. It's very unlikely that it'll be any longer. And if I needed an x-ray, there wouldn't be any issue. They'd just give me an x-ray. If I wouldn't pay a bill, you know, if I go and have a child in hospital, you don't pay to have a child.